Welcome to Wonder Woman Wednesday, and I'm going to take advantage of the SEO that comes from covering this particular topic now with Superman coming out, and I'm going to argue why Wonder Woman is a better superhero than Superman. So let's get started. So the thing about Wonder Woman is for the first point that I want to say is her mission, and this was particularly really shown up in the Rucka run of Wonder Woman and Post Crisis, is that her mission is basically to, well, actually, in the Wonder Woman movie, they also basically state that it's to promote like equality amongst society. In other words, particularly gender equality and stuff. And I appreciate that Superman does that, but kind of does that, but not to the degree that Wonder Woman does it. And that's my point with like a lot of these points. Superman does them to a degree, but Wonder Woman specifically really ramps it up. Like that's her whole thing. And it's the point where in many ways, Wonder Woman is more of the champion of the oppressed nowadays than Superman is, because the way a lot of post-crisis and Silver Age era writers have written Superman. So there is that. Her mission is basically to bring to essentially unite a society that was very wronged by man's world with man's world, and the story of her trying to juggle that, at least to me, is a little bit more compelling. That's just me. Second is her willingness to do what's necessary. And then we saw this particularly with Sacrifice. I may have hated the story, but it's like when Wonder Woman killed Maxwell Lord, what we saw with that is like, let me put it this way. This is the other reason, really, why Wonder Woman's better, because she's not paralyzed by some by some BS no kill rule. Now, I know you guys are going to pop up the panel from the Gail Simone run, and I'll have that on the screen right now. And I understand that that's saying that the Amazons have a saying, don't strike unless you offer an open hand first. First, that's the statement first. Here's the thing about Wonder Woman. Of the Trinity, she is the one most likely to kill. I don't mean that she is just going to go lopping off people's heads instantly, but she is the one that when push comes to shove, once she's exhausted every other like scenario, she is the most willing to take a life for the greater good, as we saw with the Maxwell Lord thing. Then we have her battle prowess, also in Sacrifice. And I've long said that Wonder Woman is the better fighter than Superman, because she is more willing to go. She's more willing to go that step and and take life, because here's the thing. Ultimately, Superman's always going to hold back to a degree. Wonder Woman, at least from what I have read, and if you guys have read differently, you're more than welcome to drop in the chat. I'd love to hear from you guys. But as far as I know, it's like she doesn't necessarily hold back that much. It could be because who she's fighting, but still, it's like when she goes all out, she goes all out. Like when she fought Superman. And it's like she wouldn't necessarily go like for the lethal kill with like Superman or say, but that doesn't mean she's going to hold back her fighting abilities. And then you have the fact that she's not encumbered by a secret identity. She used to be, but really it doesn't work for Wonder Woman, particularly with someone that's like the spirit of truth, if you will, to quote it like Alex Ross. And the thing about it, it works better if she doesn't have one, because she is more seen as more trustworthy and open to the general public, because she trusts them enough to know who she is. Plus, it opens a lot more doors for Wonder Woman to do stuff because she is a diplomat. And this is, again, one of the peak parts of the Rucka run, is how Rucka dealt with the political implications of Wonder Woman. I really dug those parts of it, because as a political science like guru, I really liked when that part is like explored. And That's generally like the best. Is because the secret identity thing, for the most part, and Britt and I did an episode on this a long time ago. It seems very much like it's like holding back Superman to a degree. In fact, if we wrote it, one of the things that we said, one of the things that we said in our Super Wonder episode on the secret identity is that eventually, if we wrote Superman, we would actually get rid of the secret identity to a certain degree, but we would actually do something with it, unlike what He Who Must Not Be Named did, which was nothing. So that's generally where I kind of go with that. It's like ultimately the secret identity kind of falls apart at a certain point. But that's where I'm going to leave it. So those are my arguments as to why I think Wonder Woman is the better superhero. Let me know. Are you guys more on Superman's side? Are you guys more on Wonder Woman's side? I'd love to get your guys' feedback in the background, in the comments. So be sure to like, comment, subscribing, and consider becoming a member, because you get these a day early and you get access to all my members only like reading logs and other content. So stay heroic. Steve Trevor, Steve Never. He belongs 25,000 feet in the ground. Zois the Maximat for life. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.